right, man. If you missed it last night, Fa Ajagba fought over there in Tahoe. Um, Shout out to Tom Business. He went out there. He told me he was going out there. He got the win over Joe Goodall. I believe Joe Goodall took the fight on 4 weeks notice, 5 weeks notice. I think he was sitting on his couch. I think he's from Australia or whatever. Fa Ajagba was dancing to the ring, with a Nigerian rapper. I was watching the fight with somebody, some shit, right? And we like, man, she like, oh, he's African. I was like, no, I ain't Nigerian, the guy. But usually when they dance to the ring, it's usually not a good result when they dance into the ring. I mean, I think we already know what they say about guys who dance in the ring or whatever. But hey, he got the job done. He looked a little bit more versed with this fight. Like him and K Karoma have been working on some things. Looked a little bit more like he had more tools. That's what I kind of mean when I say verse. He was throwing, lead right hands. He was throwing uppercuts, and usually he just used to look to throw the 1-2 and look real stiff. Look like he loosening up a little bit, and maybe it was the dancing in the ring that loosened him up a bit. But yeah, man, Joe Goodall, he kind of backed Ajagba up, and that's probably gonna be the next evolution of Ajagba. Especially when he starts to, he really gets it down packed that when he probably gets it down packed that his punch variety and doing different things, like he led off with the right, he can do things with the 1-2 when he learned to hook off the off the jab, and you know what I'm saying, when he throwing the uppercut now, so you can see that he working. But Joe Goodall was able to push him back just a little bit, and when Ajagba was going backwards, he was going straight back on the line, and Goodall was able to land some good punches. So and I believe he was coming off a loss, where he lost not too long ago. But Ajagba is just such a raw product. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many just different things that he still need to work on. But with that natural power, speed, and height and reach. Oh yeah, he lost to Frank Sanchez, and that was 2 years ago. Now going on 3. Well, going on just over 2 years. It was October. And Sanchez just had more movement. Joe Goodall was somebody that's standing right in front of him. You know what I'm saying? Just standing right there. But when Goodall, Goodall walked that line and pushed Ajagba back, he had a lot of success. He had some success, but Ajagba got back on the white horse. Gonna ride the white horse. He got up on the white horse and he started pushing Goodall back. And Goodall, he took the power good for 1 second, but in a while, and Ajagba took him, drowned him, did what he was supposed to do. And but yeah, I've seen some different things from Ajagba. I don't think he ever gonna be feather feet, or he ever gonna be, boxing, but I think going backwards is the next evolution for him, and being able to box on the back foot and go side to side. But I think, like we all know, Coach Karoma, and everybody that know boxing, I think we all know that that's not gonna happen overnight. We know that's not gonna happen overnight, so that take time. So they working on punch variety, him doing something different. I like to see some body work from more of these heavyweights, especially since it sounds stupid what I'm saying. Tyson Fury is the platinum standard, so I like to see some more body work from these heavyweights, where they able to go to the body, especially with Usyk being weak to the body as well too. I like to see these guys go to the body a little bit more, to be quite honest. I think that may be very, very beneficial to them, man. But he always had a good jab, good 1-2, and he used it. Then he mixed in the uppercut. I like to see him kind of improve the the hook, maybe kind of, usually when you that tall, you don't have an overhand right. And I think we seen that with Earl Spence. That Marciano had one of the greatest overhand rights you would see. I mean, that was his money punch. I think you don't see that with a lot of taller fighters, where they trying to, they'll throw the right hand, how he throw it straight. How he throw it straight on the line, And then you kind of see Earl Spence when he fought Terrence Crawford, he tried to start to loop it. You know what I'm saying? He tried to loop, he wanted to loop it a little bit more. And that's because Crawford was susceptible to overhand rights. It seemed like Crawford like patched that shit up. He was prepared to that. But I'd like to see Efe and Ajagba kind of vary that right hand a little bit too, loop it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like to see him do. I like to see him loop it a little bit more. Come from a different angle. And I think if he started to loop that right hand a little bit more, I think he'd be dangerous. I think he'd be dangerous. So, but yeah, obviously the issue there is, he moving backwards, going backwards seemed to be an issue for him. I'd like to see him kind of, just work on the back foot game a little bit. But other than that, I think he just got to continue to work on punch variation. I think if he continues to work on punch variation, I think he'd be all right. I think that's next up for him, punch variation. I mean, that's after he master punch variation. That's what they're working on now. And I think he'd be cool. So but I was impressed with it, some of the steady improvement just because you lose once, and Sanchez was the one heavyweight that was going to cause issues because he couldn't move backwards. He had, he kind of heavy on his feet being the bigger guy. Being heavy on his feet, being a bigger guy. So that was kind of the one guy that's gonna give him some issues. And I felt that Frank Sanchez it give a lot of guys issues, you know what I'm saying? And that's why Alexander Usyk, get these guys issues because he fleet of foot. So these heavier guys, when you don't not necessarily seeing a guy that have that who had that in and out movement, you know what I'm saying? Side to side movement, that keep them off balance and they hard to catch. Some of these bigger guys are slower. You know what I'm saying? And this is why, and then Frank Sanchez, he don't mind, boring the place up. You know what I'm saying? So, you got a guy that don't mind being boring, don't mind playing four corners, don't mind fainting and getting in and getting out, touching you, and then winning around and getting out of there. I mean, people watch, lightweight for that type of fights. They don't watch heavyweight for those type of fights. You know what I'm saying? So for him to be prepared to fight that guy, he got to do a better job with footwork, cutting the ring off, being prepared to box on the back foot and setting traps. See, the guys they putting him in now, in like Joe Cordell, who was a late replacement, you know what I'm saying? Who was a late replacement. The problem with all that is with all being a late replacement, the problem with all that is, you building the confidence up, but you're not fixing the problem. So at some point they got to put him in there. It's probably hard to find a heavyweight that can move the way, they need him to move. That's probably gonna be tough to find. So they got to find a heavyweight that can move the way they need him to move, to really, get him prepared. But that probably all started sparring. Y'all probably all gonna start in sparring. So we'll see what happens with all that, man. And like I said before, and Ajagba got talent. How old is he? 29. He probably legit 29 too. So yeah, he 29. Got away from Ronnie. Got with Coach Craig Caroma. Sometimes you need a different voice. I think Ronnie said that maybe he left him during I think Ronnie said like I think he broke up. He fired him. Kind of shiesty, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I think as a man, I mean, sometimes, you used to be like that when you was younger, when you break up with a girl in the message. Remember, you used to write messages, or you used to tell your friend to tell her friend that y'all, you no longer want to kick her with her no more, or whatever the situation may be. Remember we used to do that, or, need to break up with girls through text message or whatever like that. What's that movie with Justin Timberlake, Friends with Benefits? I think that's how it should be. I think you should sit down. I think you should sit down with somebody and tell them to their face. But the reason, I'm gonna tell you this real quick, a little life lesson. A reason a lot of people, they make decisions without sitting down and talking to people is because they easily can be persuaded. Because they know once they sit down and make a decision, and you talk to somebody, they're gonna try to talk you out of that decision. Now, let me tell you this: don't forget that happened with DeAndre Jordan. For those who watch basketball, remember he told them that he was signing with the Dallas Mavericks, and then he gave Doc a head up, and then Doc went to go tell Doc Rivers went to go tell, he told the team, and then what the team do next? They all came to DeAndre Jordan house, and then what happened? They didn't let him sign. They convinced him to stay. So sometimes people make those decisions because they know they could be persuaded out of making a decision. That's just the honest truth. Sometimes he's like, oh, he ain't gonna let me make this decision. It ain't that you being weak-minded. I just think people care about people's feelings and stuff of that nature. So you know who people are. You know how people are, And some people feel like, they can change your decision by massaging your ego, or if you break up with a girl, give you some sex. That's the power. When the girl mess up, you break up, and then, she want to give you some ass, you can get the ass and still, not get back with her, man. You got all the power in the world. Listen to your boy. You got all the power in the world. You got the whole world in your hands, brother. Young brother, if you can do that, you got the whole world in your hands. You know what I'm saying? You took all the power back, but that's just a little bit of game I can give y'all. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And the subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance of notifications. We go live or drop a video financially. You want to support the channel? Cash App $sign CJ Good 313. Venmo CJ Good 313. PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree from me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the whole nine. Peace.